EX3 has introduced a slew of dragon-related support, and for our cyborg dragons, the D-Brigade, they're back with a lot of new options. For today's Meta Monday episode, I cover a hyper-aggressive budget variant of D-Brigade. While you can run other options, I'll cover in this video why I don't utilize some of the more expensive cards, i.e. Death Xmon. However, while this deck may be budget, I go over the combos involved with this deck, and how as a player you'd want to either implement a memory choke game versus a bum rush into the security game. As always, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. This deck runs 5 level 2s, 20 level 3s, 8 level 4s, 7 level 5s, 8 level 6s, 0 level 7s, 2 option cards, and 5 Tamers. For level 2s, this deck runs 4 Pagumon and 1 EX3 Missimon. I get that in my last Tactical Tuesday episode that I mentioned this would be a 4 of for me moving forward. But to be honest, with the restrictions list, this minimizes the effects of Crossheart substantially. Because of this, if we had been pre-restriction, I would be running 4 Missimon. Why? Because statistically, if your matchups are going to be predominantly Crossheart, you'll hit Tamers or really weak Digimon. This means that the reboot can actually happen while you have multiple D-Brigades on the field. But now, you're likely going to see your rookies get constantly deleted. And with that, no problem. BT6 Pagumon solves a lot of the issues with its on-deletion effect for your D-Brigade Digimon. Because as the Digimon get deleted, you reveal the top card, and if it's a black Digimon, you add it to your hand. In total, I've minimized the deck to a total of 7 whiffs in the form of your Tamers and option cards, meaning you'll likely add whatever you reveal. Additionally, you'll want to cycle your effects in a way that makes most sense. If you know there's a D-Brigade on top, you might want to use BT4 Commandramon's effect first before revealing the card. If it's a non-Commandramon card, but it's a Digimon, 100% add the card first before utilizing BT4 Commandramon's effect. There aren't any other substitutions in this case other than the BT4 Missimon, but realistically you're not digivolving too often and just simply swarming the board. For level 3s, this deck runs 20 Commandramon. Yes, I'm going all in and running 4 ofs for every Commandramon in existence in the Digimon trading card game. But because I'm running 20 Commandramons, I know as a player that my security is already going to be relatively weak. And depending on my matchup, I might play the memory choke game, setting them to 1 before I swing all in. Going back to the classic Rookie Rush style. Each Commandramon has its own use and how it effectively helps the deck. BT3 Commandramon was the first Commandramon to be released into the Digimon trading card game. Though it's a vanilla, it has a 2 memory cost for playing it outright, which can make it useful when it comes to choking your opponent to 1 or 2 memory. Starter Deck 5 Commandramon was the next one, being a chonky 5000 DP body that costs 4 to play, or 0 to digivolve into. This is one of your optimal targets to digivolve in the Raise to, or play for free with the BT4 Commandramon's effect. BT4 Commandramon brought the pain with self-replacement on its deletion. You revealed the top 3 cards, then played 1 Commandramon from among them for free. In conjunction with Pagumon, you could potentially net a card, then play another Commandramon. BT5 introduced the first blocker Commandramon, and now with EX3, we have a Commandramon that has Decoy. With so many deletion effects, you can utilize this Commandramon to protect any of your other Commandramons from destruction, or D-Brigades in general, even if it's a mass board wipe. Say you have this Commandramon and another Commandramon on board. Your opponent Crimson Blazes your board. No problem. Decoy to save the other. Granted, this does affect your ability to play stuff out for free next turn. But the point is, this card can have many benefits, even in the face of Death Xmon. For substitutes, there are a few options in my mind you can substitute into your level 3 lineup. Chumon for memory blocking, Chigurumon for blocking play cost reduction, or EX1 Hagurumon for manipulating your hand and Trash for your D-Brigade. Personally, I prefer having straight Commandramons for the full utilization of their effects. For level 4s, this deck runs 8 in the form of 3 Sealsdramon from BT4, 1 Grumblemon, and 4 EX3 Sealsdramon. BT4 Sealsdramon is in this deck due to its status as a D-Brigade and also as a blocker. Unfortunately, for the sake of aggro, you lose out on being able to swing with this since you have to pay 2 memory for it to attack. Grumblemon is simply an endgame finisher. while EX3's Sealsdramon can provide many tricks to potential combos you can do. But as an aggressive body, it has jamming. Optimal play-wise, if you push this up from the raise with Izzy, setting you up to 3 memory, you can swing, jam, and assuming nothing deletes it, you can Digivolve this into the new Tankdramon for some additional shenanigans. Primarily because, once per turn, its inheritable gives a D-Brigade played on your turn, Rush. For substitutions, you could raise the number of Grumblemon to 2, but I like to guarantee D-Brigades in the trash for my other effects to be utilized. Another option is Mechanorimon as a one-of, since it can be played off of Pride Memory Boost. Moving to level 5s, this deck runs 7 in the form of 3 Tankdramon from BT4, and 4 copies of Tankdramon from EX3. Tankdramon left a lot to be desired when it first came out, considering you revealed 2, and played a Commandramon when a Digimon with D-Brigade in its type is deleted. Unfortunately, you bottom deck the remaining cards, not trash them. This is where EX3 Tankdramon is substantially better in every way. Inheritable once per turn when one of your Digimon with D-Brigade in its traits attacks, you can reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, play 1 Commandramon from among them without paying its cost, and then trash the remaining cards. Remember when I mentioned Sealsdramon jamming into the security? If it survives, you can Digivolve over it with Tankdramon for 3 memory. Reveal the top 3 cards, and play a D-Brigade with a play cost of 5 or less. This isn't limited to just Commandramons, meaning you could give Rush to another Sealsdramon if you wanted to. There's options. For level 6s, this deck runs 8, 4 BT4 Darkdramon and 4 EX3 Darkdramon. These are the biggest things your opponent will hit in security. Likewise, they're D-Brigade and can help interact with each other. The BT4 Darkdramon can place 5 D-Brigades on top of your deck and gains you 2 memory back for each D-Brigade returned. Also, it has Rush. EX3 though reduces its Digivolution cost by 1 for each D-Brigade returned to the top of the deck as well. But it also provides you some elements of popping Digimon on your opponent's board. Granted, by whatever D-Brigade you play. Meaning in theory you have removal also with this on board first, then playing the old BT4 Darkdramon. This card combos amazingly well with the inheritables of EX3 Sealsdramon and Tankdramon. But as to why I'm not running any level 7s, Death Xmon, the answer is simply how often will you have it in hand. Commandramon effects cycle through your top for more Commandramons. Tankdramons cycle through for D-Brigades and Commandramons, and Pride Memory Boost just trashes everything but your Commandramons, which means statistically if you end up with it in hand, you're very lucky. But otherwise, it'll get bottom decked or sent to the trash. Rather than waste a slot or 2 on this, I maximize the concept of D-Brigade for aggro instead. If you already have this card and you want to run one of, you could drop one of the BT4 Darkdramons, but honestly, I don't like it in the deck. Moving to options, this deck only runs 1 option in the form of Pride Memory Boost. I've tested this at 4 copies, but found frequently I was flooded with this in the beginning. Likewise, 3 copies saw similar results with 4, so onto the sweet spot of 2. This card let me reveal the top 4 cards of my deck, play one with a play cost of 4 or less, then trash the rest. Meaning all of your Commandramons are fair game. Finally, Tamers in the form of 3 Izzy Azumi and 2 Kazu Shioda. You might be wondering why only 2 Kazus and not 3. With Izzy Azumi, this memory fixer in particular will always be 3 cost for me to play, considering I gain a memory for revealing 3 black cards off the top. Likewise, this is a pseudo-security half spark that lets me gain 1 memory if it's checked in security, since again, I only have black cards in the deck. Kazu helps facilitate my plays, gain more memory at the beginning of my turn, and cycle my hand for pieces. Now truth be told, you could up this to 3 or 4, and play Death Xmons for the cycling. But as this variant is, I wouldn't change it. For strengths and weaknesses, this deck is OG Rookie Rush style. You're rushing with your Commandramons while also potentially building a lethal stack in Rays. Weakness-wise, although you might have an aggressive tactic in mind, do be wary of which matchup you're playing in, as hitting a specific Tamer or option card in the security will really screw you the rest of the game. For example, Metal Garurumon X. Hit Davis and Coolboy with Garurumon in the Rays? You're done. Decoy protects from deletion, not bounce. Security control. This one's going to be your tough match. Red decks in general? Depending on your matchup, they might pop you if you go wide. And of course, Death Xmon is going to be one of the worst cards for you to see because you have no out to it. So if you see it game 1, put yourself in a time clock mentality. For combos, this deck wants to push a wide board if needed, especially if your matchup is going to gain advantage from tamers or boosts that are revealed. In the pre-restriction format, this deck would have been amazing because the reboot Missimon would have been free chip damage, forcing your opponent to deal with your board as you build wider. But now, with the change in format, you're going to have to adjust to each matchup. Raise, Evo into hopefully a Commandramon, and pass back by choking them to 2 memory if possible. Next turn, if it's an easy matchup you can rush away and swing away. If it's not, keep building wide and choking. But overall, what are your thoughts on hyper-aggressive D-Brigade moving forward? This deck is by no means not the metaest of meta variants, but is designed purely for a budget and a rogue experience. Let me know your thoughts on this Meta Monday episode, and I'll catch you next week with some more builds moving into EX3. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.